Hey, my name is Lucy Johnson. I am a photography student and I have spent my Erasmus study abroad year in Karlstad, Sweden. I chose to come to Sweden because after visiting my original choice of Madrid, Spain, I decided that it wasn't for me. I felt that the university and the city just didn't fit my photography or my working method. So after discussing my options with my lecturer, I decided to come to Sweden for the beautiful nature and different culture. I had also never spent any time in Scandinavia, and I wanted to experience some new cultures and new places on my Erasmus year. Karlstad University has ties with Coventry University from previous Erasmus exchanges, both in and out of the photography department, so I knew that this was where I should spend my year. When I moved here in August, I came with 3 friends from my course back in Coventry, which was great because I was very nervous to be moving away from my home country for the first time. We planned our journey together and spoke to others who had previously made the journey, which made it a lot easier because we were not on our own. Luckily, Karlstad University has an exchange student home system, which means that exchange students are able to speak with their hosts before they move to the city and other exchange students that they will be living with. I was very nervous about meeting new people from different countries because of the language barriers and cultural differences. However, in the first few weeks, the exchange hosts made us feel very welcome and made sure that we were integrated with all of the other exchange students and some of the Swedish students as well. This meant that I could meet a lot of new people in a very short amount of time, and I quickly became a lot more confident in talking to new people, which of course will help me massively in my future career. In December, most of my new friends from the first semester went home as they were only spending 1 semester here in Karlstad. I found this difficult, however, the communication skills and the confidence I had gained in the previous months had helped me, and I made new friends as well as getting closer to students who had been there previously that I had not had much of a chance to spend time with. Through the exchange program here in Karlstad, I have had an opportunity to meet people from a diverse variety of countries such as Germany, France, Australia, America, Canada, and of course, Sweden. A big part of my time here in Sweden has been the friends that I have made and the times that we have had together. It may sound cliche, but I feel that I have made friends for life, and this experience has also made me realise what kind of people I need in my life to be the best I can possibly be. I feel that meeting new people and having new experiences has had a profound effect on me, and I'm now more confident and mature and look forward to broadening my experiences and meeting new challenges. I feel more prepared and inspired as I go into my final year at university, and I'm certain that my year in Sweden will influence my life beyond graduating. In my first semester, I went on a Scanbelt trip to the Swedish Lapland in the very north of the country. We spent time in Kiruna, Abisko, and even visited Narvik in Norway for a day. On our first day, after the 21-hour coach journey, we had the opportunity to go husky sledding and snowmobiling. We also spent time with people from the large Sami population in northern Sweden and fed their reindeer. This was such an amazing experience because we got to meet the native people, take part in some of their cultural traditions, and do things that we had never done before. Travelling while I was here was very important to me. However, in my first semester, I wanted to immerse myself completely in the Swedish culture and school system, which is very different to that of England. So at the end of my second semester, I am planning to travel to places such as Stockholm, Gothenburg, Malmo, Oslo, Copenhagen, Belgium, and maybe a few more places around Europe to take full advantage of the time I have before I start my final year at university. I am also going to stay in Sweden until the end of June so that I can experience the traditional midsummer celebrations to round off my year in this beautiful country. If I was to compare myself now to myself at the beginning of my Erasmus year, I can only think of positive things. I have gained so much confidence, not only in my personal and communication skills, but also in my work ethic and academic approach. Through the film studies courses that I have taken part in, I have improved my academic writing as well as broadening my knowledge. The Swedish educational system is a lot more laid back compared to what I'm used to back in England, so this meant that at the beginning of my first semester, I felt less pressure to do work. However, in the past few months, I have become a lot better at managing my time, and this will help me in my final year when I have a high volume of work to complete in quite a short amount of time. As I have discussed previously in the forum, I have learnt a lot about myself because of the fact that moving away from England for the first time has forced me to be my own person and do literally everything for myself. I have had so many diverse experiences, like hiking in the national parks of Sweden, canoeing for the first and last time, visiting a moose park, and even taking part in traditional Swedish celebrations. At Christmas, before I went home for a few weeks, I had a traditional Swedish Christmas dinner with some of my international friends. I even got to make some traditional English food so that not only I could experience other cultures, but also people from other cultures could experience mine. I have learnt many things about different cultures in my year, here including the perceptions that different cultures have of British people. Learning this has made me more aware of my own culture and how I represent myself and my country through everything I do. This, I feel, will enable me to become more conscious of how I act and therefore become more professional in the manner that I present myself to others. This will in turn enable me to become more desirable to hire in the future on a more global perspective. I have been thinking about my final year's projects and dissertation subject. However, I have not fully decided on what I want to do for these. I am planning on spending my last 2 months here travelling and researching for the topics that I will hopefully be discussing and photographing next year. As previously mentioned, I have applied for an Advantage course that will help me to improve my academic writing skills as well as my research methods. As I have previously mentioned in my forum posts, I would like to travel when photographing for my final year's main project to ensure that I can make the most of the skills that I have gained while on Erasmus, but also produce images that are from a diverse variety of locations that work with the theme of my project. As far as what I would like to do after graduation, this has not changed while I have been in Sweden. In fact, my decision has been made concrete by the experiences that I have had while away on my study abroad year. I would like to become an exhibition planner and curator, as well as being involved in the production and publication of photo books. While spending time in Sweden, my passion for photography has been revived. However, I have remained sure that I do not want to just be a photographer in my future career. In my final year, I hope to produce an exhibition and publish a photo book of a long-term project that I have been doing for over 2 years. This will help me to gain experience in photo book production, exhibition planning, and curation, which will in turn show my future employers that I have experience in these fields and heightens my employability. I am also hoping to continue my work within the Photo Book Club's Natural Collection, which was a project that I was involved in for a year before I moved to Sweden and hope to continue when I return to Coventry in September. This will help me to further my experience with photo books, as well as curation and communication with other artists and publishing houses. I also hope to work with other students to produce an exhibition of the photo books within the collection, which will again further my experiences and enable me to gain a better understanding of the processes involved in this. If I was going to give some advice to students thinking of going on an Erasmus year, I would say these few things. In terms of when you're first moving away, don't be afraid to ask people who have previously been to the place you're going to for advice. Most of the time, even if you don't know them, they will be happy to help because they've been in the same situation, and the difference between asking them and not asking can change your experience completely. Also, if you are given the opportunity to speak to people who live in the place that you're moving to, then take it. I had so many questions and worries before moving to Sweden, but as soon as I spoke to my host, I felt at ease and felt more excited than worried. Take advantage of all of the travel opportunities that you get. Often the trips that are offered or available are quite cheap, and there is the option of receiving the CGE funding from Coventry also, and these trips can be really beneficial. Often travel around Europe is very cheap, which means that you can find hostels or hotels anywhere you go, and it's great to go and visit different places while on your year out. The biggest piece of advice that I can give anybody thinking of going on an Erasmus year is to make the most of every single opportunity that you are given. There are so many things that I would never have had the chance to do unless I left my comfort zone and immersed myself in them, and because I did this, I feel that I am a better and more confident person who is ready to go into the working world once I have graduated with a clear understanding of who I am and what I want to do. Overall, my Erasmus year was one of the most unforgettable and amazing experiences of my life, and I will be eternally grateful for every opportunity I have been given. I have learnt so many new things, not only about myself, but also about the world that I live in. I can now safely say that I know what I want to do in my career and say with confidence that I now have the ability to travel around the world if my career calls for it. This is something that I definitely could not have said a year ago, and this shows to me the power of what can happen if you leave your comfort zone and try something new. To anyone that is thinking of going on Erasmus year, all I would say is do it and good luck.